Okay, so let's just sum this up in a nutshell. This chapter will give you everything that you've ever asked for. More questions and less answers.
Why you always lying?
We have went through the past, and you know how they say history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes? Well, this is the scenario for this, and we already knew that just by chapter 362, where Guts got a glimpse of the past of the ancient times of the eclipse that took place many moons ago. Back then when Skull Knight was still in his human form. Obviously, in his state, he is not human. But the huge theme was all things that glitter are not gold. And history doesn't often repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Man, I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you guys. I mean, the chapter really didn't have that much substance. It was mostly a joking, have fun, keep it light type of chapter. But it still had a little bit of meat, but not a whole lot to work with, if you know what I mean. We discovered that Flora committed a serious crime. Now, what could that crime be? It couldn't be betrayal in the sense of like where she was wanting to be with Skull Knight, because if that was the case, Skull Knight really wouldn't want to be in her presence, because if she was the one that might have been involved with stirring up the festering of the sacrifice in the eclipse, I don't think she per se executed it, but I think she was involved with it to a certain degree, because obviously Skull Knight can tolerate her, and this is not the first time that he's met her, if that makes any sense. So that is kind of what we got from this chapter. So let's kind of wrap this up. So Skull Knight goes to visit his beloved, and so does Flora, and they both meet. They go off and talk. Guts is like, all right, I guess I'm not wanted. And so, you know, Shurik was like, come on, we're not wanted. Shurik and Guts go their own separate ways because Shurik was pulled by her elf companion. He said, hey, you know, Ishiro is being crazy, you know, we need to get him. But in that moment, we learned that Ishiro just learned something that was pretty cool, like his technique. So all he has to do that is apply that with his sword technique. But if he does it, he has to be very careful because he can expose himself with doing all that flipping, things of that nature. And that's kind of what was discovered. We also discovered that he is a boob dude. I mean, because if it wasn't for the breast, I'm telling you, he probably would have been stopped in his tracks. And there were so many funny interactions between Ishiro and Puck. I mean, just look at the things that Puck was doing, transforming into the dark side. I mean, it was interesting. But eventually he was caught by a monster. Then that was the end, right? And they started beating that dude's butt, like, I mean, stabbing him with the stick. I mean, he had knots on his head. And some of them were even jabbing in places. I was like, come on now, really? And she fell for that one. She know it. Look at her. I mean, just wicked. And then now we go to the most and the last critical piece. Guts and this old man were like, you know, you and Skull Knight are very the same. Are you guys connected somehow? And then Guts is trying to brush it off like, dude, you know, I owe the guy, and you know, he's done a lot, so I owe him. And he makes it pretty clear that Skull Knight's only mission, and even Skull Knight said it, his only mission is unbounded rage. Now, who is that towards? It's gotta be Void. Void is connected somehow in some shape or fashion, okay? End of story. And also Flora. Somehow, some shape or way, something was executed. Maybe it was in order to save somebody. Maybe it was in order to get rid of a disease, or, you know, I don't know what type of situation. That was kind of alluded to the situation. But point is that the old man told Guts that, listen, you are one and the same with Skull Knight. Now, the point is, what are you going to do? Are you going to dance to the same rhythm? Or are you going to choose peace and just be content that you just have to watch your loved one from afar, because it's going to be to your detriment and other people around you? And so Guts had to think about it as he saw, you know, Casca from a window, and he just, how can he even see that far? I mean, look how far he was and where the window is. He must have super long range vision. Guts got the instance of thinking of Griffith, and then he pulled out his sword, and he didn't really get as angry, but he was kind of frustrated thinking of it all. And then guess who shows up? The Moonlight Child, aka Griffith. Now, what could this really mean, bottom line, that the Moonlight Child has showed up? Well, one or two things that I think could possibly happen. One, they could actually have an interface conversation where the boy is actually speaking. Two, he could go to see Casca and maybe play some type of part, basically causing that post drama to really come out, because that's her son, and there's a lot of things she has not accepted. So that could be the one thing, but I really think that there's probably really going to be an interaction between him and Guts, bottom line. Now, what will be discussed? You know, maybe a couple of different things, but obviously he has his own free will, because like they said in earlier chapters of Berserk, that the child would always come back, find find their parents. And if we look back to Griffith said, oh, I guess it's that time, huh? So it was that time. So the boy went to go find his parents. But for what reason will it come to a point where the Moonlight Child will reveal itself that he's the vessel for Griffith, and then we have a situation pop off where Griffith is in the Elf Kingdom? I mean, there's a lot of things that could take place in this. But what I'm really curious about is Flora and Skull Knight's situation, because it's not like, it's open arms and lovey-dovey. It's surely not that. Think about it. All things that glitter are not gold. The place is a paradise. So if it's such a paradise, why would she invoke or be a part of such thing as the eclipse? To me, that makes no sense. And that's what Shurik is asking herself. Like, why did my master invoke such a thing and do this taboo? So you gotta ask yourself these type of questions. Like, are they really happy there? Or was she really happy there under that circumstance? Probably not. Or was there some deeper longing of something? And so Skull Knight, even though he's very cordial, but the grudge will always be there. And he doesn't have a heart to go back to those mortal days. And so I think this is just kind of a good showcase or witness test of Guts. This is your future, man. Keep down this road of hatred and trying to get revenge, and it would leave you down a road of quiet desperation, misery, anger, sadness, and no peace. So honestly, yes, I was wrong about my prediction. Dang, man, I wish it was going to be something by Griffith, but technically it kind of was, but not really, because it's the Moonlight Child. Let me know if you agree with me or disagree. We could talk about this in the comments below. If you're looking for some of the most amazing content, Mastermind Comics in the building can get you what you need. Be sure to like, subscribe for more content from us. Also, go ahead and watch Casca enjoy this part 2 while you're on this channel. You know you want to.